Many of you are probably like myself, where you feel that the holiday season, while it's extremely joyful and fun to be a part of, it also brings an added layer of stress and pressure that we don't always see in our regular day-to-day lives. Have you ever found yourself just overwhelmed by maybe it's holiday shopping or a family gathering, or a packed schedule? I know that having 3 boys and church activities and all these things becomes a very packed schedule. But what if I told you that your unique gifts and superpowers, like the things that are within you, could help transform your holiday stress into moments of growth and connection and joy that you're going to create memories for years to come with? If so, stick around. Now, my name is Jake Talbert. I'm the founder and author of a book. It's called The GIVER Method. Here it is right here. It's available on Amazon now. You can get yourself a copy if you go look for The GIVER Method. Also, I'll put a link in the description so that you can get access to it. Now, today, we're going to be exploring how you can embrace the GIVER Method to overcome holiday stress. We're going to be looking at those areas where, stress just tends to arise during this season, and, how tapping into your unique superpowers can help you move past these moments with just complete ease. Now, before we dive in, if you're new here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, or at thegivermethod.com. I'll include all of those links in the description as well. I highly recommend, though, that you go to Amazon and get yourself a copy of The GIVER Method. Now, you get yourself a copy, but then, this makes such an amazing gift for family, friends, coworkers, employees, that random stranger on the street that you just want to pick up their day. Pretty low price to be able to get yourself either the hardback or the paperback version. And so go buy a couple copies. Let's help spread this ripple effect of positivity and change and impact that we can make by having our gifts and superpowers. Now, if you do go to thegivermethod.com, outside of going to get the book on Amazon, join the newsletter list. We want to make sure that whether it be through YouTube or social media or through the newsletter, that you're able to take advantage of all the tips, ideas, suggestions, or conversations that we have about unleashing your gifts and creating more meaningful impact. Now, the GIVER Method itself, like I said, it is a book, and you may not have read it or may not have seen the other videos on the channel, so just give you the quick rundown of what it is. GIVER Method. So GIVER is an acronym, and the letters, when they're breakdown, essentially what they're trying to get you to do is to discover and develop your unique gifts and superpowers so you can provide more value to those in your sphere of influence without expecting anything in return. And that you're making every engagement, interaction, and discussion with them as effective and eager and intentional as possible so you can create that greater impact. Now, when you do that, you're going to have deeper, more meaningful relationships with people, or what I call relationship riches. And also, when people develop their gifts and superpowers and they give without expecting anything in return, they use that generosity. What I've found is that the universe has a way of paying you back. And so I want to help you to invite the universe to start paying you back, especially as we head into the holiday season. Now, as we do explore some of the key areas today where, holiday stress can arise, and then specific superpowers that you can use to transform each one. Most importantly, you're going to learn how to recognize and activate some of these gifts when you need them most. Now, part of that's going to be that as I explain the principle, I'm also going to give you some action items. I recommend you grab a piece of paper, open up a note, take down some thoughts about those action items, so that way you can start to put those into practice, so that it helps you to recognize and activate these gifts during this holiday season when you're going to need them. All right? So let's explore some of those most common holiday stressors and those superpowers you use to overcome them. I'm actually going to put these, normally I don't do this, but I did it this time. I'm going to take them one at a time, and I'm actually going to start with what I feel is the most common holiday stressor, and then kind of work my way through what I feel are some of the, less ones as we go down, but start with the biggest and work our way down. All right. So the first one, the biggest stressor is the financial pressure and gift-giving stress. Financial pressure during the holidays creates a unique form of stress that can overshadow the season's joy. When you're faced with any sort of mounting expenses from gifts or, for me, decorations or the festivities, many people find themselves caught between wanting to create special moments, but also maintaining financial stability. And this pressure often stems from, societal expectations and, the commercialization of the season, leading to feelings of maybe inadequacy or guilt when we're unable to hit whatever that perceived standard is that people feel are out there. The stress of gift giving, of course, goes beyond just the financial concerns. It includes the emotional pressure of finding the perfect gifts, that demonstrate I'm so thoughtful and understanding of you as I'm giving it to you. Like, this really becomes particularly overwhelming when, dealing with tons of relationships. I already have a hard enough time when it comes to picking gifts for my wife and my boys, let alone other family members and friends or colleagues or, people in my community that I may be giving gifts to, each with their own maybe expectations and preferences. And so, a couple superpowers that you could look at utilizing as a part of this would be, if you have a superpower of maybe creativity, it could become essential to really transforming financial constraints into opportunities for more meaningful giving. Like, this sort of a gift, it allows you to see beyond the tradition, the traditional store-bought presents, and to recognize opportunities for personal, heartfelt expressions of care. My last video I recorded, which you can go check out, it's all about creating gratitude and finding ways to be grateful for the things that you have. And part of that's writing cards or doing things for individuals. When you combine, resourcefulness, you can discover unique ways to create value for others that doesn't depend on any sort of a monetary worth. If you're sort of organized and strategic thinking, work together with others, with other people's superpowers, that way you can help to manage both budget and gift planning efficiency. Like, these sort of abilities enable you to create this more systematic approach to the holidays and spending, and tracking expenses and planning alternative giving methods. And when you engage in these sort of powers, you transform what might feel like limitations into maybe some guidelines or barriers that actually enhance your giving experience. And so you could do things like, here's some action items. Start by creating a gift impact journal where, you document your gift ideas, their potential meaning rather than their cost. Each person on your list, write down maybe 3 things you admire about them. Brainstorm gifts that celebrate these qualities. And then, of course, shift your focus from the price tag to that personal connection and help to engage that creativity and superpower. And, you could also look at developing a value-based budget, that aligns spending with the values of the available resources. Break down into specific, there's handmade gifts, there's experience gifts, there's, traditional purchases or whatever. Set aside time each week to review budget, track your progress, and then adjust as needed. Include space in your planning for unexpected expenses or opportunities that might, arise as a part of that. Now, our second one, once again, working our way down these stressors, is family dynamics or family tensions. The holidays often intensify family dynamics, bringing together different personalities, opinions, unresolved tensions into close quarters. The people coming into town, the people who you don't see as often who live in the other side of town. These sort of situations can trigger old patterns and emotional responses, creating stress even before any actual conflict occurs. I've seen it happen many times with my own family. The pressure to maintain, harmony, and joy of the season while navigating complex relationships can feel especially heavy, during what's supposed to be that joyful season. And then, this challenge it goes beyond managing obvious conflicts. It includes balancing different, maybe family traditions. We do it this way, your family does it that way. Accommodating various needs or preferences and maintaining personal boundaries while staying connected. There's a delicate dance you do with this sort of relationship that often requires extra energy and attention during the holidays when emotions are already high and expectations are already high. And so some superpowers to think about that you could start to tap into. Emotional intelligence, it serves as a superpower in these situations, helping you to read the room and anticipate potential tension before something could escalate. This sort of a gift, it allows you to sense when someone needs space, or when to change the subject or to facilitate a connection. Empathy is another one. When you combine it together, you can understand different perspectives and help others feel heard and validated. If you're a peacemaker, if that's a superpower you have, that can really be essential to, actively transforming tense moments into opportunities for understanding. It's not about avoiding conflict. It's about creating space for authentic connection while maintaining healthy boundaries. And so pairing that with maybe some clear communication skills, you can really help guide conversations towards constructive outcomes. And so an action item here, or a couple action items you could look at, is to create, what's your family dynamic strategy that you put together before anyone gets together? Write down what the potential stress points are and plan responses that align with those values. Like, maybe there's buffer activities, games, shared projects or traditions that can help you redirect energy when maybe a tension arises. Just review and refine this sort of a strategy based on what works. You can establish what's your personal peace practice, specific actions you want to take when you feel tension building. This could include, taking short walks or using breathing techniques, or maybe you've got a quiet space that you can retreat to and regroup yourself. And make sure you know what those are and practice them before high-stress situations so they just become natural responses for you. Now, the next one is just the stress of the schedule overwhelm and time management, because, we all know that the holiday season, it brings just an intensified version of calendar chaos. Like, there's social obligations, there's traditions, end of year responsibilities, like all competing for your attention. This sort of overwhelming schedule can lead to a sense of, running on autopilot, missing the very moments and connections that make the season meaningful. The pressure to participate in everything makes, to participate in everything while you're maintaining just day-to-day life responsibilities, it creates a very particular kind of stress. Beyond just the number of commitments, there's also the challenge of managing your energy levels and your emotional reserve across multiple events. You have to balance those personal needs with others' expectations, and finding ways to stay present and engaged when moving in different social contexts or responsibilities. And so some superpowers, there's, if you're really good at setting boundaries, if that's utilizing that to manage your schedule effectively, or helping others to manage their schedule effectively. This gift allows you to assess those commitments clearly and make decisions where you honor both your limitations and the priorities. Combining that with, once again, clear communication abilities, you can express your choices with kindness and confidence. Maybe you're a strategic thinker and strategic planner. Like, you could work as you could work helping to create a schedule that reflects your values, preserves your energy. Like, this sort of ability helps you see beyond individual commitments to understand their collective impact, allowing you to make choices that maintain balance and meaning throughout the entire season. And so a couple action items that I have, there's, create a holiday energy map that represents the commitments categorized by maybe energy levels. These are going to require a high amount of energy, low energy, medium energy, rather than just time. And use this to ensure that you're not just scheduling too many high energy events consecutively that could burn you out. And then you have to have some recovery time with that. You also have, create sacred space blocks. I put this on my calendar when I work throughout the day, but there's hey, this area is for rest or reflection or personal holiday tradition. Like, it is non-negotiable, and you just have to communicate that sort of a boundary with others so that, you maintain that, and you can be firm with it, but also maintain that joy of the season. And one of the other stresses is if you're hosting or event planning for the holidays, because, hosting holiday gatherings, that has its own pressures combined. You've got logistical challenges, emotional expectations, the desire to create this perfect experience for guests, can lead to overthinking every detail, from, menu planning to decorations, while trying to accommodate various, dietary restrictions or preferences or personalities. This is a very multifaceted responsibility that creates stress well before the event actually begins, and it just snowballs with that. And the role of a host extends well beyond the physical preparation, to include creating an atmosphere where everyone feels welcome and comfortable. And so this emotion, the emotional labor that is involved with this, especially managing groups dynamics that there could be, you want to ensure everyone feels included, and then maintaining your own presence and energy at the event. The pressure to make everything appear effortless while juggling so many different responsibilities can be really demanding. And so some superpowers to think about that whether you have or you can tap into is hospitality. It goes beyond just organizing. It's about creating an environment where people just feel genuinely welcome and valued. This gift, it focuses on what truly matters, the connection and comfort rather than perfection. Maybe looking at combining that and starting to look for the ways of adaptability. You can gracefully handle unexpected situations while maintaining that warm atmosphere. Another one that people struggle with a lot is delegation. It becomes that a super important superpower, in hosting. It's allowing you to involve others in meaningful ways that enhance rather than diminish the experience. This ability, it helps you to recognize those opportunities for collaboration and understand how to match people's strengths with the various tasks that there could be creating more, communal and enjoyable experiences. Now, our next one is going to be like, there's an emotional overload and the self-care that comes with that, because the holiday season often amplifies emotions, creating really complex landscape of there's joy and nostalgia and stress and sometimes sadness. This emotional intensity can become overwhelming when you're going from thing to thing. You're going from, super stressed to singing at church and feeling spiritual to, big family get together. Like, there's all sorts of things. Like, it becomes like, oh gosh, once again, the emotion intensifies and becomes overwhelming when you're trying to navigate different relationships or responsibilities, and also maintaining your own emotional well-being. The pressure to always appear festive and happy can make it harder to acknowledge the process. To acknowledge what's happening and to process more challenging feelings. That's what I was trying to say. The accumulated weight of emotional labor, like managing others' feelings, maintaining traditions, meeting expectations, can lead towards just emotional exhaustion if not properly addressed. And this layer of holiday stress requires conscious attention to emotional boundaries and self-care practices that sustain rather than deplete your energy. And so some superpowers you could tap into, things like self-awareness, serves as a fundamental superpower for managing your emotional overload. This is going to help you to recognize your own emotional state and needs before reaching a breaking point. And pairing that with being able to actually boundary set and use that ability, you can maintain this emotional equilibrium while staying engaged with the holiday activities and relationships. If you have a superpower or could tap into the superpower of intuition, it's going to help guide you in knowing when and how to take care of yourself amidst the holiday demands and errands. This ability helps you to recognize what type of self-care you need in different situations, whether it's quiet time or physical activity, creative expression, or connection with supportive people. Now, the next one is this concept where people get caught up in with perfectionism and expectations. Holiday perfectionism often stems from deeply held beliefs about what the season should look like. Influenced by memories or media portrayals or social comparisons. Like, this drive for perfectionism can manifest in so many different ways, from meticulously planned decorations to precisely timed traditions, creating unnecessary pressure that could just rob the season of its natural joy and the spontaneousness that comes from that. The weight of expectations, like both internal and external, can create this constant state of, elevation and adjustment, leading towards anxiety about whether everything measures up to the imagined standards. This perfectionism often prevents us from being present in moments that matter most, as we're too focused on controlling the outcomes rather than experiencing the connections with others. And so some superpowers that you can tap into, perspective taking superpower. It's going to help you to step back and see the bigger picture beyond the perfection, beyond the execution. Like, this sort of a gift allows you to recognize what truly matters in those holiday moments and adjust your focus accordingly. When you start to pair that or start to tap into also self-compassion, you release these rigid expectations while maintaining, high but realistic standards. Authenticity is another one. It's such it emerges as just this powerful, counterforce for perfectionism, helping you to embrace real moments versus staged ones. We always in the holidays, have tons of people coming over and doing things, and so there's always this state of keeping the house clean and just making it look so perfect and such. And you've probably experienced something like that. And in reality, it's like, yeah, if you come over, I've got 3 boys. There's probably darts or Lego or something somewhere, cars, somewhere in the house, out, and about, or clothes in the bathroom or whatever it may be, because you never know with boys what they're going to do. And you just have to be authentic and accept it. It doesn't mean being sloppy, but, it helps. It's far better to be authentic than to feel fake and staged. So this sort of a superpower, it now enables you to create genuine experiences that reflect your values rather than maybe external pressures, often leading to more meaningful and memorable holidays. Now, the next one, like loss and grief during the holidays. Holiday season can sharply highlight the absence of a loved one, making grief feel particularly acute during what's supposed to be a time of celebration. And this experience of loss, like, it touches every aspect of the season, from missed, shared traditions or navigating celebrations with honor, while honoring the grief that could be there. Like, the contrast between external festivity and internal sadness creates this unique, really emotional complexity. Beyond personal grief, there's also the challenge of supporting others who are experiencing loss while managing your own emotions. And holiday gatherings can bring up memories and feelings for everyone, who's there, creating a delicate balance between honoring those who are gone and creating new moments of joy. Like, this dual experience of remembrance and presence requires a lot of sensitivity and strength. And so some superpowers tap into, like, the being a reflection as a superpower. It helps you to transform grief into meaningful remembrance. Like, this gift is going to allow you to find ways to honor loved ones while staying present to your current relationships. When you combine maybe storytelling with that, you can keep memories alive through sharing stories that celebrate impact for those, with those who maybe are no longer present. Empathy is going to be really big here as a superpower, because navigating grief in the holidays, empathy is so important. This ability, it just helps you to create space for both joy and sadness, understanding that different people process loss differently, and you pair that with, once again, emotional intelligence. You can create this environment where all feelings are welcome and validated. And then one of the biggest stresses that I know is out there is just, and I'll cover it super briefly, but travel and logistic chaos. Travel combined with the practical challenges of emotional pressure, creates this unique form of stress. There's weather delays, crowded venues, multiple schedules. The logistics of holiday movement can just feel overwhelming, and it amplifies when there's family and people staying with you. The complexity extends beyond just physical travel, managing expectations, adapting to changes, and maintaining emotional, equilibrium throughout that journey. So think about, once again, we talked about adaptability, in navigating travel chaos. Like, this sort of thing helps you to respond to challenges, whether, with flexibility rather than frustration, and combine that with maybe problem-solving skills. You can find creative solutions to those unexpected challenges, so that you can maintain this sense of calm. Could also be peacemaking, because, navigating your own stress and the energy levels of those traveling with you, this sort of ability helps you to create pockets where, tranquility and peace amongst the chaos, and transforming potentially stressful situations into opportunities for patience and, maybe even humor. Now, as we explore these sort of ideas, let's talk about putting them into practice. There are some key steps, just super quick, that help you to start using your holiday superpowers. First, identify your primary holiday stressors from this list. Which of these resonates the most strongly with your experience? Second, match your challenges with your natural strengths, and remember that often, your gifts appear in moments of need, and they're already within you, waiting to be recognized and developed. And then third, just start small. Choose one area to focus on, this week. Notice how using superpowers, even in a minor situation, it's going to build confidence for maybe the bigger challenges that can come. The holidays, they don't have to be a time for stress. And by leaning into these principles that, are grounded in the GIVER method book, and embracing your superpowers, you can transform your challenges into these opportunities of growth and connection and more joy. And so I encourage you to reflect on where your stress tends to arise, and think about, which gift you can use to help overcome it. Remember that these principles are just a glimpse into the GIVER method, this framework designed to help you to unlock that potential and create impact. And so if you're ready to transform your holiday experience and use your unique gifts and superpowers, then go to Amazon, get the book, get it for someone else. Go to thegivermethod.com, get on our newsletter list, or check out the different services that we have to offer. We want to make sure we get you any sort of exclusive insights, tips, or the services that can help you to create meaningful impact all year round, but especially during the holidays. If this video, if it resonated with you, sorry if it's a longer one, but if it resonated with you and you've made it this far, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone else who may need to hear it. In the comments, tell us about maybe your holiday superpower that you've discovered. Your story might help someone else recognize what their gifts are. Just remember, holiday stress, it isn't something, just something to endure. It's this opportunity to discover and develop gifts. Each challenge is actually inviting you to step more fully into who it is that you're meant to be. And you think of it that way, then the real magic of the season starts to come forward. It isn't perfect decorations or flawless gatherings. It's authentic connections and where we create and share our genuine gifts with others. And so until next time, I just invite you to keep growing and keep giving. And remember, your holiday superpowers, they are already within you, waiting to transform your stress into a strength. And I want to invite you to just develop those gifts and superpowers, whether it's by getting the book or checking out the things on the website or utilizing these action items we discussed, so that you can have the most amazing holiday season and be able to have those deeper, more meaningful connections and invite the universe to pay you back. And so until next time, have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you in our next video.